My name is Miles Morales. I'm Brooklyn's one and only Spider-Man.
Hey, what is up, Charity Room Fees? It's your boy Charitier, and I just saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse yesterday at the most lit theater in Amsterdam. No, not the Tushinki, the other one. Holy shit, you guys! I have so much to talk about. I wrote like a whole script on my iPad that I kept fumbling, so I'm not going by the script anymore. But I have the points in my head, in this big brain of mine, and I had to record this video again because my MacBook was acting up. But anyway, without further ado, let's get stuck in, as simply Austin would say.
You were supposed to be here at 5.
All right, whatever.
Whatever? Whatever?
So this movie takes place about a year and 3 months after the first Spider-Verse movie, and Miles Morales has had one hell of a growth spurt. But this movie actually begins in Gwen's POV, so you get to see her character motivations, what led her to becoming the Spider-Woman of her reality, and her interactions with her dad, Captain Stacy, and ultimately what led her to becoming the Spider-Woman of her reality. And wait, I said that twice, didn't I? But ultimately led her to joining up with Miguel O'Hara's Spider Society.
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999.
And oh boy, Miguel O'Hara, what a character. Holy shit. So this guy is fierce. This guy is menacing. This guy's done with everybody's shit. But most importantly, not most importantly, but lastly, I found it interesting, the tendency to swear in Spanish.
Miles Morales!
Now, this might not be that big of a deal for people who are monolingual or even bilingual and don't speak Spanish, or for the Motion Picture Association of America, or now that I think about it, the normie CBFC censor board back home in India who probably won't even cut this in the movie. They won't censor it, I guarantee you. But for me, I love to learn languages. I aim to be a polyglot one day, and this was like the icing on the cake. This was, let me find a metaphor that fits, right? It was like the extra kick of flavor you get from one of these, from like a sipper or like a glass full of dubby. In addition to all the energy that you get, right? It doesn't have any business being that good. But yeah, this was amazing. Okay, for me, it was just like chef's kiss. And speaking of Miguel, right off the bat, you see this guy is not a one-dimensional character, and he's not even like the villain of the movie, even though he's like constantly antagonizing Peter Parker. Sorry. He's constantly antagonizing everyone, including Peter B. Parker and Miles Morales. But he's, you see where he's coming from. You see his struggle. You see the emotional crux of why he's like this, why he does what he does. There's a lot of parallels that have been drawn between this guy and Kang the Conqueror. And let me just tell you, this guy ain't no Kang. Sure, he ultimately might be answering to or even working for a Kang variant like the Centurion from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but right now it just seems like this is a guy who's trying to do his best to keep the multiverse together. And yes, Oscar Isaac, man, this guy packs such a punch in his performance. This guy has been taking W's lately, right? He played Timothy Chalamet's dad in Dune. He played not one but 3 characters in Marvel Studios' Moon Knight. So you had Mark Spector / Moon Knight, you had Stephen Grant / Mr. Knight, and you had the murderous yet devious Jake Lockley, who did most of his killing off screen. And now you have him reprising his role from the first movie here in an extended role that is way beyond the post-credit scene that he had in that movie. He's like a co-lead in this movie, basically, to Haley Steinfeld's Gwen Stacy and Shamik Moore's Miles Morales. Of course, this movie would not be the same without the ensemble cast, and that includes the mother and father of Miles Morales. So you have Rio and Fernandez. I'm not sure that's his name. But also you have the Spider people themselves, right? So you have Issa Rae Spider-Woman, and you could make a whole video about her. And of course there's just so many Spider people in this movie that I could make like a whole video breaking down what each character is, where they come from. But some of the stand-up performers, I would be doing a disservice to the fans and to the voice actors playing these characters if I did not mention them. So let's start with Peter B. Parker, played by the Johnson guy. I don't think it's Ryan Johnson's brother, but yeah.
Come on, go easy on the kid. He had a terrible teacher.
Peter,
Miles!
you have a baby?
I have a baby.
I'll take it from here.
This guy, right, he doesn't partake in much of the action, but he's still a standard performance, and he basically his character arc. It's a logical progression from the first movie to this one. You can see how he becomes and how what he is now, and how he gets here from the first movie. It's just so heartwarming to see. It's rewarding for us as fans to see. Then of course you have Hobie Brown, who is anti-establishment pretty much, and Hobie is probably one of the reasons why you should not be comparing this guy Miguel O'Hara to Kang, because while Kang brainwashed and gaslit the TVA, right? They're all variants from different timelines. Miguel didn't do any such thing with these spider people. They joined him of their own free will, their own volition, and you can see this with Hobie because he disobeys, like he expressly disobeys Miguel O'Hara from time to time. He even helps Gwen out with stuff that might pay off in the next movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse movie, which comes out next year. So yeah, that was so cool to see. And we come to the elephant in the room, Pavitra Prabhakar.
Hey, who's the new guy?
Now, I have a couple of issues with this guy. I mean, sure, he's a badass motherfucker. He's well written and stuff. But then, he's... Okay, so first things first, right? Nobody names their kid Pavitra in India. Like, I guarantee you, like, out of the 1.32 billion people in India, there is nobody with that first name, right? Second of all, Prabhakar. So he lives in, which is a city based on Mumbattan. He lives in Mumbattan, which is a city based in Mumbai. But his last name is Prabhakar, which is a Mallu surname. Again, he might have come from Kerala, I'm not sure. But then everyone in his reality speaks like they are the Indians in one of those, I don't know, I guess token Indian scenes in every movie. So like you got the Indians in Pixels, you got the Indians in the first Avengers movie. It's just nobody in India talks like that, okay? I'm telling you right now. But my nitpicks aside, Mumbattan visually is such a love letter to India. Like, it's not just visually, but like, you got the soundtrack, you got Nucleus Bakar Bakar, which is, sure, it's a pretty old song at this point, but like, it accentuates the, the feeling that you get when you see Mumbattan. And there's even a billboard for Zomato. So Zomato also has like a billboard in this movie with one of their corny, like, sort of catchphrases, not catchphrases, but like, one of their dumb lines that they spam you with in your push notifications. For those that didn't know, Zomato and Swiggy are like India's DoorDash and Uber Eats. Thank you, Side Kiwi. That was very cool. So anyway, that brand collab with Zomato aside, there were a lot of things in this movie that, you probably won't even catch at first viewing. And of course, the Spider People. So many Spider People and Spider-Man associated characters. I mean, I'm not even going to joke or like, try to mask my awe at seeing all these characters on screen. In live action, but some of the characters that we've already seen before return for this movie. It's just like, I'm still in awe right now, right? You had Mrs. Chen from the first Venom movie. You had Donald Glover's Prowler, now wearing his actual costume. You had a version of Doc Ock, which was either voiced or actually fully played by Alfred Molina. I'm not sure. It was like a quick glance and he just says, "Hello, Peter," and he just disappears. You have a version of Kraven the Hunter somewhere in there. You got the PS4 Spider-Man. You got Lego Spider-Man? Holy shit. And in case you guys were wondering, these characters are all stylized in the manner that they appear in their respective franchises. So Mrs. Chen, for example, she appears in live action. Like they do the Space Jam thing, better than Space Jam. You have, Donald Glover. He appears as Donald Glover. You don't see him as a 2.5D character. You see the PS4 Spider-Man appear just like he appears in the game. It's just amazing. It's like, holy shit. And even the MCU is fair game because they name drops Peter Parker and Doctor Strange, even though they used the wrong designation in my opinion. I'm not sure how that works, but yeah. And they have flashback sequences, like they have actual sequences plucked from the first Amazing Spider-Man movie and from the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. So that was just like, I don't even know, man. Also coming to D-list villain the spot, right?
So are you like a cow or a Dalmatian?
I am the Spot. That's not funny.
Don't do that.
So at first you're like, who the fuck is this guy? And you'd be right, because he's such a D-list villain in the comics. But you'd be a fool to not take him seriously in this movie. So he's basically the syndrome to Shamik Moore's Miles Morales' Mr. Incredible. In the same way that Mr. Incredible inadvertently created Syndrome, pretty much the same way Miles Morales created the Spot in the first movie. He drops in a monologue. Miles doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about this guy. But yeah, that was interesting to see. And this guy goes from goofy to brooding to dark to absolutely unhinged and murderous towards the end of the movie, and it's like, holy shit, this guy is such a, I don't know, man. I was shaking in my boots, right, watching this movie, like watching this guy's performance. And speaking of performance, of course, back to Karan Sony's Peter Prabhakar, right, Spider-Man India. Not a single frame, not a single second where you think that that's Dopinder. You won't see the cab driver from Deadpool. You will think, holy shit, this guy is so brilliant. He's such a badass motherfucker, but also like his accent is kind of a stereotype. But also you won't think of Dopinder, so that's a good thing, I guess. But yeah, this movie. Oh my god, I mean, I'm talking crazy right now. I'm going incoherent. I'm going off the script that I originally wrote because it's just. I mean, how this movie even exists in the first place, it just goes to show the power the fans hold, right? But yeah, this movie might actually help to explain some of the stuff in ancillary movies like Morbius, and might actually elevate that movie from shit tier to mid tier. So that's great in my opinion. Now, this movie doesn't make any comments about the fact that it's the second movie in a trilogy. It ends on a cliffhanger that is the mother of all cliffhangers since this scene.
No, I am your father.
No. It's not true. That's impossible.
I mean, like, my jaw dropped in the cinema. Like, that was the whole thing that happened in the cinema when I saw like how the movie ended. And it doesn't even tease you with the post-credit scene, right? The only tease you get at the end is the words, Miles Morales will return in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. That's it. Like, man, this movie. So let me come down to my conclusion, my final review, my final thoughts for this movie. This movie is visually stunning, relentless, incoherent again, right? This movie is visually stunning, relentless, runs at a breakneck speed, has a lot of action. It's flawless. It's faultless. I can't even, like, the nitpicks. Sure, I mean, not every movie is like, peak. Not every movie like is. And I have to say, there's no movie out there that's perfect, right? So keeping these things in mind, and sort of judging the times we live in, and just the fact this amazing movie exists, I'm giving it a solid 10 out of 10, right? So if you guys want to buy this t-shirt by any chance, it's still available on my merch store because of a glitch. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep it up. So, grab them while they're here. Also, you can get Dubby, like a 10% discount on Dubby, if you use my promo code on screen right now, and help support the gaming channel. So that's a whole other thing that I do. So like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff if you liked the video. Dislike if you disliked it. And Psyche, take over, please. Subscribe to Charioteer's World and go stream Esposas out on Spotify soon.